Good afternoon, VC. How's it going? Seeking a thread. That's me. Back with you. I wanted to close out, well, almost close out 2021. Still a little bit more I want to talk about, but this week, or today, I wanted to throw out there my favorite used record, my favorite sort of vintage finds, my favorite, records. Not new music, but records that I found in 2021. These are mostly records I either have undershown, maybe shown a little briefly, or have not shown at all. I mean, there's other records I've shown plenty that are also from 2021, so I'm not going to show those. So these top the list, along with a few others that you may have seen. So I want to get into it. It's freezing up here. We've had minus temperatures up here in upstate New York in Ithaca. And we're rolling with it best we can, spending as much or as little outdoor time as we can handle. I'm listening to, I just finally cracked this Marion Brown Le Temps Fou soundtrack, French soundtrack. And a few of you have shown this. I've had this for a little while now. I'm just popping it now. I've just finally cracked the seal. Definitely some very much out stuff from Mr. Brown. Gunther Hempel on here, Ambrose Jackson, Bar Phillips, Steve McCall, Elaine Corneau, with Marion on the alto sax and bells. That's what we're going to play a little bit of while I show you these records. I want to talk about an all-time favorite artist, Jamal, who passed away just on the 10th, I think it was. It was just after, Motoric 247 and myself, we did a stream dedicated to the artists we lost in 2021. And then the next day, last Sunday, I did a show highlighting some of those artists, or highlighting a few, but mostly also talking about one that had just passed away, James Mtume. And then the next day, Jamal, or the next day after that, or the day or two after that, Jamal passed away. This record, Drum Dance to the Motherland, Jamal's Creative Arts Ensemble, is an all-time favorite jazz record for me. I posted this as my top 5 jazz finds on Instagram, and it's very true, very much the case. I don't have much else. I'll have all the other records I have on my want list, and they're just tough to get. This is a reissue, and this is the most expensive record that he has. I also have reissues of the group he was in. I'm going to play these tonight on my radio show, Sunday night, Eastern Time, 7 o'clock. Sounds of Liberation. This is their proper album, reissued by Brewery Town Beats in Philly. And this is a sort of an outtake session, Sounds of Liberation. These are both very good. I'm going to play some of these tonight. But anyway, I wanted to mention Jamal in all of his different iterations. Beautiful record, a vibraphonist. And just wanted to mention him because he plays... coincidentally, with this first record, he plays with him quite a bunch. These are some of my favorite jazz finds of 2021. I've shown this a few times. I have to show it again. Byard Lancaster, It's Not Up to Us, on the Vortex label. Just navigates a perfect space, free, spiritual, but a lot of restraint, a lot of sort of space in this record. Thanking Motoric 24/7 again for really turning me on to this, and just love this album so much. I just want to play it again. Maybe I will play it again right after this. So that's one. I know this one has also been, I've shown this once, just have to show it again. This is, to even call this a jazz record, Sonny Chiroc's Black Woman, it's almost not giving it a fair shake. It's so much more than that, really. It's an incredible document of, yes, free music, rock, sort of spiritual, ambient sounds almost, noise, of course. Linda Chirac, just belting, caterwauling. Milford Graves drumming on this, Dave Burrell piano. And Gary Chirac is also playing bells on the Black Woman track. Ted Daniel, Richard Pierce, Atlantic subsidiary, both of these on Vortex, Bayard and Sonny. This is one I played on my radio show last week, and I think I showed this on Instagram. I'm showing it here, but Kaweda Tubi Kumba Tootie Heath, which is really just Jimmy Heath, right? No, the other Heath. Plus, it's Tootie Heath, Albert Heath, I believe it is. I just keep forgetting that, but he was going under a different name. On the drummer, it was his session, although James Ntume, who's playing on this conga and percussion drumming, most of the tracks are his compositions, so in a lot of ways it's his record. 4 of the 5 tracks are Ntume compositions. But this one also features Herbie Hancock, Don Cherry, Jimmy Heath, his brother Ed Blackwell, Buster Williams. This is the Trip reissue. Now, I only got this in November, and I think I paid around. I mean, I was really hesitant to pay what I paid for it. I think it was $60 to $70. I was so hesitant to pay for it, but I listened to it and streamed it, and I was like, "This is just occupying a perfect space." And now it's like, even that was not. Man, it's like 2 times that now. At least that's the asking price. So don't pay excessive amounts. I thought I was paying excessive amounts for a Trip reissue, which is like a budget reissue label. The original of this came out a few years before. Private label, I'm forgetting, Obey Records, I think it was. In 1970, this is like a 1973 or 1974 press on, like I said, the Trip label. So I don't know. I think if you're looking for this record, wait it out. Maybe this Trip version will become available. Here's one from earlier in the year. Wish it was in a little bit better condition. I got a great deal because of that. But it's Cluster. This cover. I mean, I didn't own a reissue. I was waiting out for original. And here we have it. On the Green Brain. Oops. It was 1972, I think it is. Yep. If you know Cluster, and you know your experimental Krautrock, you know this record. Cluster 2. Delius and Mobius. Cluster with a C, of course. They were Cluster with a K. But this is the first German press on Brain, 1972, and it's extreme. I mean, it is extreme. It's not really Krautrock, more so than spatial, sort of noisy, ambient, experimental, but certainly elements of Krautrock and whatnot. I believe it was a Connie Plank production, right? I think it was. But yeah, the condition could be a little bit better. I VPI'd the shit out of this thing and still didn't quite get there, but thrilled to have this. Giving you all these nice sleeves too. This one I also did show, but I have to show again because I've been after this record for a long time. One of the times I went to Rochester over the summer, we popped in, my wife and I, and this was on the wall. And I've been looking for this. Copies were turning up online at stupid prices and off condition, and this was a fraction of that price and nice condition. Purple Image on the Great Map City label. It's got a promo sticker, but not a promo label. Not technically a promo, but this would have been what they would have given out to radio stations. Great psychedelic funk record. Beautiful Map City labels. There's writing on the front here, but I don't care. This is a clean sleeve, clean record. If you like your funkadelic, you'll be all over this record. Check it out. There is a reissue of this. Don't remember the label, but you can find it. I believe it's on purple vinyl, of course. Gotta have purple vinyl for a record, you know. Yeah, talking about funkadelic, I did show this one. I'm going to show some ones I haven't shown in a minute. Parliament, the first Parliament record, coinciding with funkadelic. Though this one precedes, it's the first Parliament under the Parliament name, but it precedes like Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow, and Maggot Brain. This is I've never seen this one ever in any shop. I'm sure it's not like impossible to find or anything, but in my travels I've not seen it. Never seen one here at the record store. So I found a seller online in Discogs who was offering this at condition that was like, no, you know, slightly off, and the price was good. And I wrote to the person and just asked. I think I told the story, but they made me an offer. I was like, nah, it's not really good enough based on what the condition is. And they came back with a lower offer and then a lower offer, so they wanted to move it. And this is a decent copy for, I mean, the sleeve is a VG sleeve, maybe no less than that. We got some tearing here. Does have the insert. Does have the insert, which is great, which does have some water, a little bit of mold on it. But this sleeve is very presentable on the Invictus label. And then the record, I think they graded it as a VG, but it plays better, and it actually looks a little better than that to me. Invictus label. You got to have this one if you like those early Funkadelics. I mean, this occupies the same space, maybe a little, maybe not quite as psychedelic as sort of the not knock on it, but Oh Lord, Why Lord, My Prayer, a song that will pop up in streaming services if you're in the right space. Osmium, I don't think I mentioned the title. Definitely a find for me. I'm so thrilled to have it in this condition. Maybe a better sleeve will come along, but for now, hell yeah. I say hell yeah. The only other original I'm missing, ooh, I just lost, look at that, I lost a piece of the sleeve. Damn, I lost a piece. It's okay. It's going to be okay. The only other original I'm missing is the first Funkadelic. I have a reissue of that, but not the Westbound pressing. And that's kind of where I sort of, after Free Your Mind and Maggot Brain, I don't have much else after that. I probably should get those next few Funkadelic records as well. So here's what I have not shown. This is a good example of a record that I just had no interest in buying online, but I was looking for. It wasn't even in my want list or anything. But I just knew here at the record store at Angry Mom, I had said, at some point I'll see a copy of this. And a few months back I did. Clean as heck copy of the first Meters record. Self-titled on Josie. I mean, not completely clean, but this is a record that you will find torn up. Sometimes literally. And this is a clean first press. Got a really nice price, of course. Helps to work in the store. That really does help. Deep Groove Josie. Labels. Instrumental Bayou Funk. You all know the Meters. A good example, again, as I said, if there are other ones come through and they're in nice shape, I'll look for them or maybe grab them. But I was just like, okay, perfect. There it is, finally. So I didn't have any Meters records for that reason. I do have some 45s. Alright. Some Psych records. July. On Epic. I just talked about it, and I just got such an amazing deal on this. I just had to bring it home. Had to get it. So thrilled. One of my all-time favorite Psych records. Spoiler alert, it'll be in my list. On Epic 1968 stereo pressing. Just an incredible cover. Shout out to Hudson Valley Vinyl and Chris, man. Really hooked me up with this one. Appreciate it. July.
What's up? Surprise! I'm back, except I'm here in a different location. Sorry, I had to continue this rest of this 2021 favorite finds here. I'm at the WR5 studios, just finished up my radio show. So let's get back to right where we were. I got an original copy of a record that I talked about at some point when I highlighted the companion label. Mistress Mary, Housewife. A fantastic loner, country, slightly psychedelic, slightly country rock, privately pressed album on the Afton label. The companion label who reissued the album has had a bunch of these originals, and they started unloading some at a much cheaper price. Lowest I've ever seen them, so I was able to get one. So an absolute all-time favorite. I sent my reissue to Russ at Mama's Records, so it seems like he appreciated that. I just love this album, Mistress Mary, the one and only record she would ever do, 1969. By the way, we're listening to an album, so EP that you can only get on CD. I don't think it's ever going to be reissued. Macha loved Bedhead, Bedhead loved Macha. It's a collaboration between Bedhead, the great Texas group with the Cadane brothers and Macha out of Athens, Georgia. They came together to do sort of a tour. Well, Macha was sort of in the tortoise mold, but a little more sort of Eastern influenced, a little more slightly groove centric, a little rockier, I suppose. And they put this record out together on 2000 on the Jet Set label I actually worked at. And they do a cover of Cher's Believe at the end of this, but the 4 tracks that are on this are just beautiful, beautiful combination of the slowcore thing, of some ambient sound, some sort of atmospheric rock, and as you're hearing, just lush sounds. So that's what we're listening to. All right, one of my favorite Flying Nun records, the first album by the Gordons. Very hard to find this. This is like a noise rock record from actually it's not even on Flying Nun. The reissues would be on Flying Nun. The originals are, I think, self-released. 1981, a much more of like a Sonic Youth or Swans type affair by the Gordons. John Halverson, Alistair Parker, Brent McLaughlin, trio. Super stoked when I was able to get this for, man, it was cheap actually. Well, not cheap, but it was a good price. The sleeve was described as VG, and I was able to get it at a good price because of that, but it's nice shape. So, one of my favorite Flying Nun related records of all time. Got that in 2021. Here's what'll be a surprise. I've never shown this. A band I got into maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I've always known about this band, and you'll know them. But I got into them. I don't know. I love it. Something about the way they do music and the avant-garde, really, in its approach. But strange and, now they're basically like a Fish fan band, but it's Ween. I got into the first few records by Ween. I was able to get this original pressing, Pure Guava, only released in the UK from 1983 on a Creation subsidiary called August Records. Gene and Dean Ween. This stuff is just weirdly good. I think it's great. I love the pod the most. I'm only really into the first few records. I'm not really into them as they've kind of got more on the jam band circuit. Pure Guava. Just strange choices. Just perennially, just consistently stoned music. I enjoy it. Doesn't really go with a lot of the other things I've been into, but whatever. It's, for me, it was a big highlight to be able to get this Pure Guava. So I'm curious what everyone's take on Ween is. I always knew about them. It was just that I didn't really explore them until a few years ago. Pure Guava. A few more. I'll show these two together. 2 early low records, original pressings on Genius, and this is on Vernon Yard. The Curtain Hits the Cast, the second album, and Long Division, my favorite low album. Coke Bottle on Genius, 1995. Genius / Vernon Yard. Low, Low. I love what they were doing. This is sort of the dawn of their sound. Very deliberate, very beautiful, very simple. Simple, I mean that in the best way. They weren't trying to do too much with their sound. This I was able to get, for around, somewhere around $70 on this. This has been going for 100, 150, but I finally was able to be patient. Well, I was patient, and finally the seller was reasonable. Same with this, Long Division. Didn't have to pay crazy amounts for these, but I don't know when they're ever going to get reissued. Their first album was only reissued by Plain Recordings. I believe John Digital Gramophone showed that at some point. It might have been in his list, but that one didn't come out other than CD, and then Plain reissued it. Hopefully that one gets a repress too. But in 2021, these 2 low records are super glad to add them. And lastly, I did show this one at 1.2. The first Acetone record. Another band, sort of showing a lot of slowcore, I guess. This is also 93 on Hot Recordings, that's right, 1983 UK. Cindy is the title. They basically take a few different songs, one by the Velvet Underground, and just kind of steal it. Black Angel, is it Black Angel Death Song, or is it, I forget. It's in my original post, but this is Cindy. I got this again there's like a minute of clicks on my favorite track, unfortunately, Louise. And so for that reason, it was significantly discounted, but it's a beautiful copy otherwise. Insert or inner sleeve and everything. 1983, great rock band. Too bad that the lead, bassist Richie Lee died, so the band sort of broke up. But they got signed to Neil Young's label Vapor, and just we're a great band. I'd check them out. That compilation, like the Attic did, is a great place to start with them. So that's my 2021 favorite finds of the year, favorite vinyl that I've brought to my life. I will do one more 2021 video probably, sort of wrapping up some records that I've been wanting to show that I haven't really. So I'll do that. Thanks to everyone for chiming in on the Psychedelic 100. That's been great. That's all I have to say. Hope you enjoyed checking out the WRFI innards here, where I just finished up a show, which you can hear at wrfi.org or mixcloud.com/searching for a thread, or have a look and do an internet search for Searching for a Thread. You should be able to find the podcast. I do that show right here. All right, see you now. Thanks, VC.